everybody. I'm Dave Graham with Just Want to Play Games, and today I'm interviewing Dan Mazur from Guard Tower Games. He's created this phenomenal new game that I've played called Airships and Empires. Dan, welcome.
Great. Thanks for having me, Dave.
So I'm going to ask you a bunch of really quick questions to start with, right?
Okay. Yeah, you got it.
We call these rapid fire, baby, just like Dan's game, right? Okay. Favorite game of all time?
Risk.
Risk. Favorite game mechanic?
I would say, well, I don't know if this is a mechanic or not, but I would say immersion, backstory, lore. It's not really a mechanic, but it could be considered one in my book.
Okay. Euro games or Ameritrash?
Ameritrash by far.
Right, yeah, I knew that by just him saying risk, people. Best convention you've ever attended, and it can't be mine.
So I've attended a lot of big ones, a lot of small ones. Right now, I'd say the best convention is Origins Game Fair. I think it's big. It's not as big as Gen Con. You can breathe. You can move.
Is that the best one you've ever attended?
I think
though?
so.
Okay.
I think it's the best one.
Awesome. Most underrated board game?
You're gonna laugh at this one.
Probably.
A Game of Life. It's so
Hey,
underrated.
It's
because,
better than Candyland.
because people have no idea what that spinner is actually doing when you're getting married or when you're buying a house or anything like that.
Now, I've known Dan long enough that I pretty much can say right now his answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways because you don't know Dan. What's your favorite historical era?
I would say there's
You're allowed one.
One. It's Revolutionary War era.
I knew it. What game designer has influenced you the most? And if you don't know his name, just say the designer of his. Okay.
I do. It's Kao Yokoyama.
Okay.
He did the old SF3D game, which became Machine and Krieger.
Okay, cool. Coffee or Mountain Dew during game design sessions?
Coffee. Sorry.
Okay.
Coffee through every session.
What's on your game table right now? What game are you currently playing the most?
Pool.
Pool?
So my game table is my pool table, and whenever we game, I put the cover on it, put terrain on it, whether it's miniatures or board games or something like that.
Do you have a next game idea that you can't stop thinking about, or is everything focused on Airships and Empires right now?
Yeah, so Airships and Empires, the core rulebook is wrapped up. It's ready to go. We already took out about 150, 160 pages out of the core rulebook because we have a campaign set in the background, so that's already done. So that's kind of like on my radar right now. There could be an RPG game, but as far as games go, there aren't any beyond Airships and Empires right now, but my next focus is finishing the novel from the old D&D Fest.
Okay, I will say I think the idea of an RPG based on this world is very interesting because it kind of reminds me then of how Battletech dealt with it, right? You've got the miniatures game, and you could then take your characters from the minute there was an RPG game, there was a card game.
Yeah,
and so if you fall in love with the universe, you can explore it in a bunch of different ways.
Absolutely, and the time period is just freaking awesome because you have late 1890s, so late 19th century, right? And so much stuff is going on at this time period. The politics involved, the upheaval that's going on culturally, the discoveries that are still going on. It's so rich for an RPG.
Dan, you've been involved in video and tabletop gaming since the late 1970s. What first pulled you into the hobby, and what made you decide to create games instead of just playing them?
So after school one day, I went over to my buddy Pete's house, and his brother was at the kitchen table, and he was setting up a really cool war game, which I didn't know was a war game at the time. Just saw a cool map going on the table. He started putting some chits on the table. And I looked at the box, and it was Panzerboats. So I saw that. He taught me a couple of rounds of that, and what I can digest as a 10-year-old kid. But even just that initial exposure had me hooked on war games. I didn't start designing games intentionally right away. I mean, it's just obviously you're a 10-year-old kid, but what I noticed that as we start playing games, thinking back on it, is you tweak the rules of any game, right? And you make it fit for what you want to have fun for, right? So as you're playing a game, it's like, this rule doesn't work for us. What if we did this? What if we did that? And another buddy of mine, Gary, he lived across the street. We'd always play games in his garage, like every Saturday, or in the summertime, being in his house playing games, and we always would play the kids' game. We'd play Monopoly, which really isn't a kids' game, but we played Monopoly, and I remember we actually had 2 Monopoly boards, and we do a figure 8 around the board, and instead of houses, we started with shacks, and so I think that's like one of the earliest things, if I reflect on it, is that's kind of like the early design, right? So it's people changing the game to make it fit for their own purpose.
Okay, cool. After that riveting story, as both a history teacher and a game designer, do you find that history influences the worlds and mechanics you create?
Yeah. I think it goes back to the earlier question, like the game mechanic. I like the story, right? And history is nothing but stories and events, and things unfold from that. And I think that having a really rich game, it has some kind of rich backdrop to it. Whether you're talking about a Vietnam game, right? So you can have a Vietnam game, you could have a game on World War II in Guadalcanal, or the Revolutionary War, you have a Battle of Yorktown, or any of those games. It's like the game sets the context, and I think having a rich context where people understand what they're playing, when they're playing, the time period they're playing, it really helps them get in the frame of mind of the game itself. A lot of people don't play Monopoly because of...
Oh, I always enjoyed Monopoly.
Right.
Nobody can beat me, but I enjoy it.
But the early game, right, was not just a kid's game, right? It was an
adult game.
It was an adult game by far.
Now, I learned it at age 5, but when it was created, it was an adult game for people going through the Depression and stuff.
Right. It was even early. Yeah. It's like
Well, it was based on other games.
Land. What was it? Landlord. The Landlord.
Which it was
the original
one it was based on was a political game.